Hello, my dears. How are we doing today? We are going to work on our factoring foldable. So we're going to do the first part of our factoring foldable. Isn't it pretty, right? So you're going to want this today. So kind of the game plan for our notes is that we're going to do one of these different types of factoring every day. And then you'll have the opportunity to practice with it on your practice. Okay, so today will be like so short notes, right? Because we are only doing greatest common factors. We are only practicing how do we factor by taking out the greatest common factor. So here on the screen, I have the sheet, greatest common factor. So you're going to want to put this up so that you can write in here. Okay. So when you're looking at factoring by taking out a greatest common factor, you want to look at every single term and decide if there's a common factor to take out. Is there a common number that you can take out? Is there a variable that you can take out? Or both, right? So I want to make a little note here that it can be a number, a variable, or both. So you could take out just like a 4, or you can take out a 6x, or you can just take out an x squared, right? So whatever is common in every single term, that's what you can take out. And then once you decide what that greatest common factor is, the GCF, once you decide what that is, then you just divide each term by that. So we literally only have 2 examples here. I don't want to try to kill you with examples because I really think that you guys are going to be able to pick up on this pretty quickly. But let's say my first example is 4x plus 24 equals 0. So the first thing that I need to do is decide what is my greatest common factor. So my strategy for this typically is I look at my numbers first. I look at my coefficients first. So in this case, I have a 4 and a 24. So the biggest number that I can think of that goes both into 4 and 24 is 4. So I know I can take out a 4. Okay, then I look and the first term has an x, but the second term doesn't have an x. So I'm not able to take out an x, right? Because there's no x here in the second term. So in this problem, my greatest common factor is just 4. Oops, that's not what I meant to do, sorry. So when I take out a 4, I still have to include it. I still have to write it, but I'm just gonna write it on the outside of my parentheses. And then on the inside of the parentheses, we just write what's left. So if I take out a 4, I'm left with an x. And if I take out a 4 by dividing, I'm left with a 6. And then I still have that equals 0. And that's it. That's as far as I can factor in this problem, okay? Don't write this part down, but I do just want to show you the way that you can check your work is by distributing it back in, right? 4 times x is 4x. Again, you don't have to write this part. 4 times 6 is 24. And if you get what you started with, then you know that you factored it correctly. Okay. So if we look at our second example, my second example is 9x to the 4th minus 15x to the 3rd plus 3x squared. And so my first thing is I need to find my GCF, my greatest common factor. So again, let's look at the numbers first. I have a 9, I have a 15, negative 15, and I have a 3. So the biggest number that goes into all 3 of those is 3. If there is no number that goes into all 3 of them, that's okay. You can just take out a 1, or you can not take out a 1 and just ignore it, okay? So you don't have to take out a number. Okay, now I'm going to look here. I'm going to do this up top again. You don't have to write this. I have 4 x's in the first term. In the second term, I have 3 x's. And in the third term, I have 2 x's. So the question that I need to ask myself is, what is the most that I can take out, right? So I cannot take out 4 x's because even though I have 4 here, I don't have 4 here, and I don't have 4 here. I can't take out 3 because I have 3 here and I have 3 here, but I don't have 3 here. I have to take the same amount in every single term. So the most I can take out in each term is going to be 2, right? That's the most I can take out. So not only can I take out a 3, but I can also take out an x squared. So when I write this in factored form, the 3x squared comes out. And then on the inside, I just write everything that's left. So 9 divided by 3 is 3. I had 4 x's, right? But I took out 2. So I'm left with 2. So 3x squared. And then negative 15 divided by 3 is negative 5. I had 3 x's, but I took out 2. So I'm left with 1. And then 3 divided by 3 is 1, plus 1. And then I had 2 x's and I took them out, so I have no x's left. You have to make sure you have that 1. If I start with 3 terms, inside my parentheses, it still needs 3 terms. And that's it. That's as far as we're going, okay? So just factor out the greatest common factor and then write what's left. If you have questions on this or if you're struggling with this, please just make sure that you reach out and let me know. Otherwise, I'm just going to call this good. 2 examples. You do have practice on Classroom. Just make sure that you get that practice in, and we will look at factoring by grouping next.